All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. And today we're looking at something I think we all want more of.
Yeah.
More productive days.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who doesn't want to get more done?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to be taking some inspiration from this really cool French podcast episode called Podcast dos d'anglais, être plus productif, which translates to...
Being more productive?
Yeah, be more productive. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, very much so.
But they had some really interesting ideas in there.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think one that really stood out to me that we'll have to get into is this thing called the 80-20 rule.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a classic. It's a really good one.
Yeah, it sounds like a math equation or something, but
Kind of, yeah.
it's all productivity, so we'll definitely dig into that.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing about this French podcast episode is that it really kind of flips the script on productivity in a way.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Because it's not just about doing more things.
Right.
It's about being more intentional with what you actually do.
Yeah, definitely. It's about working smarter, not harder, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So it starts with planning.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this really great suggestion, which is like, just write down the top 3 tasks for the day.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps it manageable.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what would your top 3 be today?
Let me think. Probably, I've got this report I got to finish. That's definitely number 1. And then I got to schedule those appointments I've been putting off.
Yeah.
And then maybe squeeze in a quick workout if I can.
Oh, yeah. I feel that I'm the same way with the workouts. Got to try and fit it in where I can.
Yeah, for sure.
Mine would probably be prepping for this big presentation I have coming up.
Okay.
And then finally tackling this pile of emails that's just been sitting in my inbox.
Oh, yeah, I feel that.
And then maybe... if I'm ambitious like you, a little workout.
Yeah, hey, we can be ambitious together.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got our 3 tasks. But how do we even choose those 3? You know, like out of all the things we could be doing.
Right. Well, that's where this 80-20 rule comes in.
Okay.
So the idea is that 80% of our results come from just 20% of our efforts.
Oh, wow.
So it's all about figuring out which tasks make the biggest impact.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're launching a website, spending hours tweaking the font might not be as crucial as making sure the checkout process is seamless.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because if people can't buy anything,
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter how pretty the font is.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's about focusing on what really moves the needle.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's be honest, focusing is hard.
Oh, tell me about it.
These days, there's distractions everywhere.
Yeah, chronically.
And this is something that the English Dose episode also tackled. You know, they really went into distraction management.
Yeah.
And they had some good practical tips,
Like what?
like silencing your phone,
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
which I think we all probably need to do more often.
Yeah, for sure. And then they also talked about this thing called the Pomodoro technique.
Ah,
You heard of that?
absolutely. The Pomodoro technique. It's great.
Okay, so tell me what it is.
So it's basically working in these focus bursts. So you set a timer for 25 minutes, you work without distractions, and then you take a short 5-minute break.
Okay.
And it's really surprisingly effective for just maintaining focus and preventing burnout.
Interesting. So it's kind of like interval training,
Yeah, exactly.
but for your brain
Uh-huh.
instead of your body.
Yep. Yep.
I like that.
It taps into your natural rhythms of energy and attention, you know.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, and speaking of energy,
Yes.
this is something else that the podcast highlighted that I think is often overlooked.
What's that?
It's this idea of energy management.
Yeah.
It's not just about managing our time.
Right.
It's about managing our energy levels.
Totally.
Things like getting enough sleep,
Uh-huh.
taking breaks, eating well. All of that plays a role.
Absolutely. It's like trying to drive a car with an empty tank, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You can have all the time in the world, but without energy, you won't get very far.
It's a great analogy. I like that.
You know, what's cool is this podcast even suggests incorporating short bursts of exercise
Oh, wow.
or mindfulness practices throughout the day to help keep your energy levels up.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about planning, tackling distractions, managing our energy.
Yep.
What does all of this mean for our listeners?
Right.
Like, how can they actually apply these ideas?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So here's a final thought for everyone listening.
Okay.
Now that you have these tools, what's one small change you can make today to boost your productivity?
Oh.
Maybe it's silencing your phone for an hour, trying a Pomodoro session, or just taking a 5-minute break to recharge.
Yeah.
Remember, small steps can lead to big results.
So true. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.